Okay, so here we are. We're coming to my room. I'm Daniel Lampkin, and I teach at the International School of Prague. And here is a gallery walk of our 10th grade poetry group work we did yesterday. And I'll just read these poems out, and you can see them for yourself. The grass is always greener on the other side. The path evaporates into a ditch. The rain pours and the cars soar by. The other side, big houses and gates, a yellow brick road. Should I've tried? Without a plan or voice, the cars face by a decision to be made, reward versus afraid. But cementless grass is green, but my shoes are wet. The grass isn't greener, but the path won't forget. The rain beats down, I cross the road, the hooter sounds, the car over the toad. Now, I misspoke on cementless. I said cemetery because some of the kids actually went out to the cemetery local to our school and picked up some imagery there as they formed their poems. This next one's called Faded. The forgotten souls lie in their graves as the plastic flowers of love remain, and when the birds sing their song once more, a new flower grows by the gate. Though the rain falls on and on, the rustle of leaves keeps rising, and the moss once again guides your way, the rotting leaves forever laughing. Dead as what lies underneath, with the chipping of the chapel wall, remains in a place of misery and regret of each life passing, the memories of the once alive fading with the passing time, hoping one day you'll be back again to hear the voices of the forgotten and dead. The Lone Flower. The mouth of the door opens as we are plunged into the frozen air. Sweaters doused with bitter rain, cold seeps through our skin, sending shivers down our spines. Glooming faces hide under wet fleece, feet trudging through damp earth. Tall trees loom over our heads, and for a moment, a lull in the rain. Yet the strong and sturdy tree can stand the endless pounding of the rain, but along the barren road, a lone flower rises still, unyielding to the icy grasp of winter. Here's a picture of that lone flower. It was raining a bit when we went out in groups to get inspiration for these poems. This one's called Grayscale. Bitter cold biting at our fingertips, running noses, breathing the wet air away. Mushy mud under our feet. It's a gray, gloomy day. A road that splits into two. Taking the wrong path would be a shame. The path that beckons leads to darkness. There is only one to blame. Leaves hanging from the branches, the distant sound of the stream tickling over our ears as we slip into shadows. Water rushing past the rocks, fed by the sky's tears. Here we have one that has a name, The Cloudy Fog, I think. It's the first line of the poem. The cloudy fog, hiding the mighty fire, fading away sounds with a splash of echoey sounds. Slippery shoes, stepping on stairs, we laugh as we sit on the dirty bus chairs. Screeching to a stop, we get off our shoes, crunching of bones, rustling of leaves, everything. My eyes no longer see limitation, needles on the road, sticking out from the wet skin. It is our first beat, 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 and stop. I no longer hear nothing. And it crushes into the silence of the sweet, must hit by the brisk of the wind on a brand new beginning and ending. This group was inspired by the sad image of a dead squirrel in the road. We'll continue down to further 4. Hello, Miss Bryn.
Hello.
This poem is called Red Flesh. Alone at last, falling through nothing, to be embraced by cold stones. Alone at last, mourning loved ones over the dark pits of forgotten souls. Alone at last, surroundings are cold and dreary. Turn back, I wish. The response is a screaming wind, chilling my bright red flesh. Splash! Together at last, cherries rest, a pair. The last leaf. Now this is October we're talking about, so there's a lot of changing into one summer form into a winter form. The last leaf. Frozen fingers deep below, frozen flowers softly grow. A gated church with no one inside. I can hear her screams. They always make me cry. A cold breeze bites deep, making warmth hard to keep. My cold heart is filled with guilt as the flowers I placed start to wilt. It's all my fault. I have to leave. I can no longer stand to grieve. Maybe this winter will be my last, so I can escape my dark, dark past. A last leaf falls, and death slowly calls. To call, to crawl, or to fly. To look on this world high above my head, or swim under the surface, to run away from death. Listen to the voices far away from you, and not to be really concerned about the things you do. That's the priceless freedom which blows against me, yet the smell of autumn empowers me, the smell of leaves around the pound, and have the wings of lightning sun to read the power in my soul before I hear my final toll. Wish away. Walking through the empty streets, through the autumn of my life, it's the unsettling winds whistle above in the washed-out sky, leaving me shadowless. The gate creaks at my presence, my vision in capturing the menacing height of the respectable hollowness. My senses overflowed with the petricular. Its water collapses onto the aged stone. Leaves crunching under my feet. It's to health in the crisp air, exhaling my ghosts, chasing away my unachieved dreams, abandoning me, reminding me of my crucial sins, in hopes the rain washes away my presence. Now, as I walk down to the other corridor, a note on the reading of these and the visualization. So hopefully we can capture the idea that students had to see things or take in the senses of their environment and put those impressions together, think of a topic that would lead to a theme that could be put to the form of poetry. So, as we go down to the last bank of poems, we had about 16 groups. And these last poems here that we'll have on record may continue that theme. Kids again went to the direction of a cemetery or a nearby turkey farm or a pond or a church in the village. So here is a poem called Changes. And this one has a lot of particular small fragments connected by this string of leaves. Cracked cement, fallen leaves, gray skies above me, guiding me to where change begins. Leaves of color on a wall canopied over cracked cement, beautiful like a vineyard, to where change begins. Hovering trees hanging over me like a shield from above against cold and pain, to where change begins. Dead, decomposed leaves on the ground, rotten apples, juicy and squished like applesauce, to where change begins. Weeds grow, tangled together, small puddles, murky water, reflecting life, to where change begins. Cracked cement, small pebbles, and fallen trees leads the way to an oasis, to where change begins. Ringlets in the water, the rain quickens, water weeds float on the surface, shielding feathers, protecting mothers and fathers, to where change begins. Velvet trees border their home, overgrown and changing color. Falling prickly plants scatter the ground, blocking my path, and I overcome to where change begins. Clouded water, ducks afloat, webbed feet catch the ripples. They grow and grow, but weren't drowning, to where change begins. Gray skies, scarce clouds, rain hitting me, falling heavier and heavier, but I keep going even when it's as dark as night, to where change ends. And by coincidence, we are changing from the poetry unit to Kafka's Metamorphosis, so that poem really will fit that transition. Contrast of nature. Moody skies, golden autumn leaves, muddy lies, the squirrel believes. Still emerald, drops dancing, shy golden sun, the squirrel prancing. Ruby flowers ascending, puddles seeping, tires screeching, the squirrel weeping. Asphalt stained, blood drizzling, vision fading, shattered silver squirrel. Lonely woods. A lone red leaf falls on the beaten path to join its colorful friends in the wet dirt. The forest is still and silent except for the tapping of raindrops on the leaves. A fawn darts. A tree has fallen. The forest is asleep and awake. Colorful leaves carpet the winding forest path down to the lonely, rusty fence. Stacks of wet firewood lie useless. A rusty nail protrudes. A muddy stream flows under the rusty bridge. The murky water rushes between the rocks. A lonely stroller stands. Too damp, stuffed beach stand forgotten. Eternal. The foot fights to escape the mud. It pulls free with a squished rein. Light yet stinging penetrates the outstretched arms of the trees with a remorseful whisper. A trail. The trail battles the undergrowth. A timeless struggle. It bends gently to the left and then to the right. Tiny plumes of water explode as they impact the ground. An earthly damp scent permeates the forest. A rabbit jumps in fear. A dog bark is joined by another, and another, this one a whimpering whine. Among the chaos stands a silent sanctuary, a behemoth of burdened stones, imposing, imperishable, forlorn. In its center stands a gilded figure, arms splayed, tears streaming down his arms, his face, his chest, tears like candles in tribute, tears trickling across the folds of his skin. The path. The path we followed, paved with the final leaves that have fallen, leading us to the deep, dark wood. The path we followed, the rains creating a stream showing our own way. The path we followed from cracked cement to a muddy, wet floor. The path ended standing in the rain. Joining that is the full stop. Begin with the corners. Work your way to the middle. As you place the final piece, you look at the image, forced toward the path abandoned. God's tears gently hit the grave, a lighting, harbinger of storm. Unexpected as it may be, it never misses. 8 a.m. Cars go by on oil-slick roads, politicians advertise, and the sky cries, misty street with no one there, abandoned playground with runners in the background. Smoky chimney fogs up the sky, walking back, 2 years left. And these are 10th graders, so they do have 2 years left. And the last poem in our gallery today. As the rain falls, the grass gets greener. As the rain falls, the kids get meaner. As the leaves fall, the old tree dies out. As the leaves fall, their patience burns out. Insatiable they are, even with a silver spoon in their mouths. The clouds are a visual euphony, which they can't see, blindfolded by their agony. The rich soil under their feet, providing all the necessities. They don't care, for they don't see. As long as they keep their Gucci shoes neat, insatiable they are, even with a silver spoon in their mouths. This is our gallery for October 2012, Stretch Day, English 10. And I hope that you review these poems, maybe zoom in where you want to, and encourage the process of poetry. Bye-bye.